Hello, it's Doc Griffin, PPGS Director of Club Fitting Operation, and it's time once again for the Doctor's House Call. Today I want to talk to you about wedges and bounce. Now, for those of you who don't know exactly what bounce is, I'll try to make this as clear as mud for you. Here on a wedge, I've got a sand wedge. Here's your leading edge, and if you can see how this drops back, and here's the back edge of the club, that is your bounce. The degree of bounce would be measuring this angle. You can do it one or two ways. You can take the leading edge up, set it down, measure the angle there, or you can take it and set it on the back edge of the bounce and measure that angle there. Basic function of bounce. I would say the basic function of bounce is to keep the club moving rather than have it just stick down in the ground and get stuck. It may be oversimplified a little bit, but that's basically what it is. It's designed to keep the club moving rather than just digging. So that brings up an interesting point about wedges. Just how much bounce should you have? Now, let's clear up one thing. All clubs, well, no, they don't. Most irons have bounce. The longer irons do not have as much bounce as the shorter irons. As you get into your wedges, though, you want to try and get your bounce to match your playing conditions as well as your swing style. Now by that I mean the more you dig, which is really not a premise of the PPGS, but let's say those of you that are listening, there are some diggers out there that actually hit down and take a pretty good divot. You would need more bounce on your club than those of us that are sweepers or pickers of the golf ball. Now we'll get over more specifically into wedges, determining what kind of bounce you need based on number one, your playing conditions and your swing type. If you play in conditions where your sand is fairly hard, packed, it's not a loose granulated type sugar sand, more like pulverized concrete or pulverized brick that we have here in the Piedmont of South Carolina, you want a club that has less bounce. You don't want a club coming in with a hard surface that has a lot of bounce hitting and then skipping across. What you want is a club that will dig, go down, move the sand, and then come back out. So with a hard packed sand type playing condition, you want to have less bounce. Also, if you're playing, again, if you're more of a picker and a sweeper, you don't want a lot of bounce because it makes it more difficult for you to come in and pick the ball clean off the ground, because that back trailing edge is wanting to come down and you got it, bounce. So if you play a loose sugary type sand, then you do want to have a club with more bounce. I mean, you can get wedges that range from 10 degrees of bounce up to 14, sometimes even 16. I don't think they're making many of those anymore. But you got to pick and choose your wedges to match where you play. So the question is going to come up, well, I don't play in one type of sand all the time. I travel around, play different courses. They have different types of sands. Well, this brings up an option. There's really two. Get you a medium bounce, something like a 5610 or a 5612, excuse me, would put you kind of in the middle. So you could be able to go and play most types of sand and be able to play it comfortably. Or you can do like a lot of the tour players do and better amateurs. They have different wedges for different environment and playing circumstances and situations. So that's even an option. Let's go from our sand wedge up to a lob wedge. Now here, In a lob wedge, you've got a face that's sitting pretty high up off the ground. This is particularly important on a lob wedge for guys that are pickers of the golf ball. You want to get as low a bounce as you can possibly get. I think the lowest that I have seen is like a 60.3. 3 degrees of bounce is pretty low bounce on a 60-degree wedge. Now again, if you're a digger, you may want to go a 60.5 or even a 60.8. But you got to match the wedge to your playing conditions and to your swing. So that's about it. It's rather simplified. If you've got questions, please feel free to send me an email or put it on the blog, and I'll do the best I can to answer it. And as always, we want to thank you for supporting the PPGS. Remember to keep it vertical, and better golf is just a fit away.